Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm giving an update on the Thomas Townsend Brown replication today. So in the last video, I showed you guys sort of the different elements. We got the tri-arcuate electrode, which is that double bubble shape on top. The middle canopy electrode with fine wire grids, and the center spherical electrode. In this design, there are solid dielectric pylons in the shape of a hyperbolic funnel. I doped them with varying concentrations of barium titanate as a high K material for high energy capacity, and lead oxide as a high mass material. Both of these being distributed more towards the top of each pylon section. There's two pylon sections there making that funnel between the three elements. And you can see the circuit here where the outermost electrode and the sphere in the center are connected to one terminal, and the middle canopy electrode is the other terminal of the capacitor. So this follows really closely Thomas Townsend Brown's laboratory notebooks. That's where I got most of the design elements, if not almost all of them. And I put it together. If you guys are thinking about doing something like this, please be very careful. I took a lot of precautions with the barium titanate and lead oxide powder because they're toxic, so I had to get full body suit and face mask, gloves, handle it outside, being safe and all that. And I used paraffin, and that's what I doped it with, about 6 different vials to get the concentrations to be varying with pylon depth. And I got no force out of this guy here, at least it's within the margin of error, which is about 3 grams, because of these lines that have to be connected to the electrical source that are hanging off, which makes it a little tricky to get super accurate force readings. In order to power this, I used multiple different sources of electricity. I did end up building a Tesla coil. It is a 1/20th scale version of Nikola Tesla's Colorado Springs transmitter, which is a famous Tesla coil. And it's pretty cool. If you guys want to see a video on that, drop a comment below. But it is not a bipolar Tesla coil, like I said would be ideal. It's just a single Tesla coil. And nevertheless, it probably should have worked, but where I'm hitting an issue is that this middle canopy here is so close to the tri-arcuate outer electrode that it sparks over, which I designed into it because I didn't want the spark to happen like this squiggly line here through the dielectric pylon. Once that happens, it's done. It'll just keep sparking there. The effect is gone. So I wanted to spark here just as a sort of a safety measure to keep stress from getting too high in the dielectric. Well, you need stress in the dielectric for the effect, and I wasn't getting a high enough stress before that spark occurred over here. So if I could redesign this, I'd probably get such a large distance between all of these elements by making it quite large that sparking over really wouldn't happen except at extreme voltages. And then I would need a generator with extreme voltages that could actually create that spark over event in order to dial in the stress that would be needed for the dielectric of the system. But the proportionality of the elements in mine sort of just lend itself to not enough stress in the dielectric, meaning that this middle electrode is too large relative to this outer electrode to make it work in my design. So that is my design, and that is a failed experiment, but I do think that with better design it could be done. So this middle electrode, I think it should be like all fine wires. Right now I have a lot of structure with very few fine wires. That's just the way I designed it. It's the way I saw it in my head. But if I could redo it, it would be almost all fine wires with very little structure, which is a little hard to design, but that's what it would have to be. And yeah, I do think that the paraffin and lead oxide is a good choice, given that Thomas Townsend Brown himself used that. Ceramic materials would have been better, but until those are like maybe widely 3D printed or something, they're just very expensive to have custom ceramics made, especially with varying concentrations of doped additives. I mean, I don't even know what would be necessary for that. but that would be somewhat ideal to replace paraffin in this system, ceramic. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say about this guy. It's unfortunate. But the last thing I'll touch on is I have been working on a robotics company. Going to be launching soon. I'm making electric actuators, which are based on an invention of mine, which I patented, and it's related to Thomas Townsend Brown's theories of sort of like force in asymmetrical fields. I applied it to magnetism and got some cool stuff out of it. So if you guys want to see some videos on that, I will do that as well. I appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully I can see some of your guys' replications in the future, maybe taking some of this into account, and we could get this done. I do think it'll be a very big deal once it does happen. Thanks for watching.